Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. I played it on the Xbox One through backwards compatibility. It is available on PC, and if you have a PS3, go for it there. So, we'll start out with the story. Like always, you once again play as Gabriel Belmont, who is now a vampire. They call him Dracula. I'm not going to call him Dracula. I have my reasons for that, but going into that would be spoiler territory, and I think I'm going to do a small spoiler video later, so I'll address it there. The game starts out, you are in giant old castle being attacked by the Brotherhood of Light. After that, you go into a coma for certain reasons, and you're reawakened by Zobek, who is scared because Satan is about to make his return, and Satan doesn't really like you or Zobek, so you kind of have to team up to stop him. There's also another sub-story going on where Gabriel keeps getting pulled back to the castle through mysterious forces, and that story kind of touches on his connection to the castle. And I gotta say, I'm not gonna go into too much detail. Like I said, I'll probably do a spoiler talk, but I didn't really love the story of this game. Honestly, as much as I shit on the first Castlevania Lords of Shadow game, I liked its story more. I also liked the story of Mirror of Fate more. Also, going along with the story, I didn't really love the story to the DLC Revelations, where you play as Alucard. Again, won't go into spoilers for it, but I wasn't necessarily in love with it. As for the audio in this game, the voice acting is better than it was in the first game. Robert Carlyle does a far superior job. Patrick Stewart is back as Zobek, and he does a fantastic job there. I gotta say, just overall, I liked the voiceover work more. As for the sound effects and music, I think they both work very well with this game. I really like the music. It works with this kind of gothic, dark, medieval tone, even though this game doesn't really take place in medieval times. And the sound effects work very well. As for the gameplay, this is honestly the 3D Castlevania I wanted. From a gameplay standpoint, this is a far superior title than the first one. It's a much more connected world, easier to explore continuously, which, I mean, that is a core element of Castlevania. You get new abilities, you can go back and explore other areas more easily rather than having to try and memorize what level that was in. But not only that, the combat was far superior. I really felt like they did a good job with the enemies, giving you a good reason to use the different powers and abilities. Gabriel has his heavy attacks, which are his Chaos Claws, and then he has attacks that will heal him using the Void Sword, and they give you a good reason to use those. They give you a good reason for those existing. There are enemies that have heavy armor that you need to break through. It's also useful to use the Chaos Claws just to do more damage. Obviously, the Void Sword is to heal yourself in combat, which is fantastic. I loved it. And just in general, all the combat had a reason for being this time. The different moves you get make sense. Also, two huge improvements over the previous game. Firstly, you can control your camera. I complained about it in the first game as it being one of your worst enemies. It really was. And secondly, you can dodge in air and dodge multiple times very easily. These are two features that the first game truly suffered from not having. I also want to say that in the Revelations DLC, I mentioned you play as Alucard, and I love playing as Alucard because they gave him a different move set. In Mirror of Fate, when you play as him, he has a whip, just like Gabriel did, just like Simon does in that game, so it's kind of meh. It doesn't feel like Alucard, but in Lords of Shadow 2, he has a sword, albeit it's a katana for some reason, because I mean, it's just kind of weird European people busting out a katana in that time period. It would make more sense for it to be like a straight sword of some sort. But that being said, he has his own moveset, he has his own special abilities. They really did a good job differentiating him from Gabriel. And while I like the gameplay overall, the only thing that really holds it back from being truly excellent are the stealth sections in the game. To put it simply, the game didn't need stealth sections, they don't really add to it, and in quite a few of them, I just kind of had to find cheap tricks around the section. I didn't necessarily use the things they wanted me to use in those stealth sections because they're not well designed. But again, overall, liked it. Next up, the controls. I liked the controls in this game. They worked very well. They were every bit as responsive as I needed them to be. They did what I wanted when I wanted. The combat was smooth and fluid due to that. If I got wrecked, it was generally because I was being stupid and being overly greedy in a fight. It wasn't due to failure of the controls. Lastly, the graphics. Once again, I really like the design in this game. I love the character design. I love the world that they built. It takes place in a more modern world, or at least part of it does, and I like it. It's like this cool, kind of futuristic, not overly futuristic because it takes place in kind of an older part of town, but I like the way it looks. I really like the creature design. I like the way Gabriel looks. His head also isn't far too small for his body this time. I like Alucard's design. Overall, I love the design of this game, and I will say graphically it's superior to Lords of Shadow 1. Obviously, it's an older game, so it's not going to hold up to all the modern games, but it does still look pretty good. I guess if I had one visual complaint, I would say that I wish there was more variety in the monsters. So to wrap this up, I really enjoyed this. If it was on sale, I would recommend you guys buy it because it's a fun game to play. It's just not quite as good as I would like it to be. I looked at some of the old reviews and it has like 6.5, 6 out of 10 kind of reviews, and I disagree. I honestly think it should have better reviews than the first game because from a gameplay standpoint, apart from the stealth sections, it's what you wanted in a Castlevania. The only thing that holds me back from fully recommending this game at full price is the fact that I didn't love the story. So that being said, I would recommend this if it was on sale. Okay, so in the comments below, why don't you tell me what your least favorite Castlevania game is? Obviously, since I just recently played it, the first one that comes to my mind is Castlevania Lords of Shadow. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share, subscribe. Have a good one.